Hey everyone, this is Derrick Broze with the Conscious Resistance Network, and I am here with an old friend of mine who some of you may recognize from the Greater Reset, the People's Reset, Etienne de la Boetie², who is the author of numerous books that I think you guys need to know about. If you don't know about, you're about to find out about it. And I'll just start off right off the bat. We're going to be talking about a few different things. The main focus is about this event that he has coming up in Sedona, Arizona, which I'm super excited about, coming up at the end of this month, first weekend of November. And this is actually going to be my last talk in the United States for 2024. So if you want to catch me, hear one of my presentations and hang out in person one more time before we go into 2025, and it might be a little while before I come back, then you're going to want to come to this event. But thank you for joining me today for the show, brother.
Hey, great to be with you and your audience.
Yeah, so let's get into it. First, for those who haven't heard you speak at the Greater Reset or the People's Reset and are not familiar with your book, why don't you give everybody the lowdown, because I know you have a lot of important things that you've been sharing over the years, starting with, I will say, one of the most important things overall, the kind of cramming in people's minds, planting the seed that government is organized crime.
Yes, so my book is Government, the biggest scam in history exposed. It's been the best-selling book at almost 24 Liberty conferences and events. We've sold copies to 25 plus countries, and the subtitle is How Intergenerational Organized Crime Runs the Government, the Media, and Academia. And my thesis is that, government was really never intended to protect life, liberty, or property. It's best thought of as a technique to rob and control populations. And you can never have a legitimate government because you can never delegate rights you don't have yourself to a representative. You can't be bound by a social contract that you didn't sign. And if my, fiance and myself can't vote to rob Derrick because there's two of us and one of him, it doesn't matter if there's three of us or 10 of us or 330 million of us. So it's really been the biggest scam in history. And so that's really what I'm best known for. And then a lot of people that read the book, they're like, you do a real good job of explaining how organized crime runs the government, the media, and academia. But what are we going to do? You just got to have government. Who's going to build the roads? And so this, our upcoming conference in Sedona on November 1st through 3rd will be called Liberty on the Rocks, Sedona, the Voluntaryism Conference. And we're bringing some of the world's best known experts in voluntarism to explain how you can get everything that you want from monopoly government better, faster, and cheaper from the free market, from mutual aid societies, armed protective service companies, arbitration providers, nonprofits, and genuine charities. And the idea is really to kind of explain to people the world is this self-organizing system. It produces spontaneous order, and we really don't need government. And then we can begin talking about how do we roll it back and get rid of it.
Awesome, brother. I'm really excited. And I love the full title you have on there. It says Voluntarism, the Good Karma Alternative to Being Tricked into Voting for, and then scratched out, the lesser evil. I think it's a really positive kind of focus now. And you were telling me before, you actually had a similar event to this last year, but it was more focused on exposing the problems. And now this year, there's been a shift to, like you said, answering some of those questions that people might have, because there's going to be people in my audience who are familiar with the problems and they could recite them just as well as you have. But they might be, let's say, skeptical towards specifically libertarian philosophy or voluntarism philosophy, voluntarist philosophy. Could you just spend maybe a brief moment diving deeper into that just for a minute about why you think that is necessary and why that is the central piece of this gathering?
Sure. So first, just so you know, last year's last year's conference, Liberty on the Rocks, Sedona, which is available on the streaming platform Civil. So if you're interested in this year's, you can go see last year's at civl.com, and you can see talks by Derrick Broze and Ramiro Romani / Hakeem Anwar from Take Back Our Tech, and Ernest Hancock and Etienne de la Boetie². I talked about government as a scam, and then this year I'm bringing the solutions of voluntarism. And voluntarism is best thought of as the idea that all relationships between people must be voluntary, that nobody has rights that other people don't, Nobody has an exemption from morality, especially the government. And there is, nobody gets the ring of power because there isn't really a ring of power. And so what you have in a voluntary world is a world without government. And luckily, the good news message is we really don't need government. The world is a self-organizing system. It produces spontaneous order. And everything the government does that's legitimate and kind of non-redistributive. You can't rob Peter to pay Paul. But, if you think about what the government does, most of what the government does is provide services, whether that service is delivering the mail or, building the roads or, air traffic control or, disaster recovery. What the world is kind of, discovering is that the private sector does a better job of all of those things. The Cajun Navy is doing a better job of disaster recovery than FEMA. FedEx would deliver the mail if the government didn't have a gun to their head, first class mail. Canada privatized their air traffic control decades ago, and planes aren't dropping out of the sky in Canada. And so now that doesn't mean that you're going to just do away with government tomorrow. There's not going to be any, it's just going to go smoothly because we've had this organized crime government that's been looting the country and stealing the value out of the money and keeping people artificially poor in what I believe is, kind of economic warfare against the population. So there's going to be some transition costs, but what we're trying to do with the conference is really make people understand and that have never ever thought about it before or have never been exposed to the idea that the free market is delivering public goods. Well, we want to show you real examples from some of the world's leading economists and legal scholars, really, explaining how a world without government would look. And I believe, and the folks that you're going to meet at the conference are going to explain, everybody would be a lot wealthier. There would be more economic activity. There would be more, opportunities for jobs. The jobs would pay better. The money wouldn't be losing its value. The police wouldn't have the ability to do things like arrest you for victimless crimes at the same time that, you would have a choice. Do you want your home protected by ADT? Or do you want it protected by Brinks? And it would probably come with an alarm system. And if the officer is rude to you, then he would probably be fired versus, now we've got this monopoly provider government that can be rude and nasty and provide, horrific service and nobody can do anything about it. In the free market, you've got choices that don't exist today.
Perfectly said. Thank you for that, brother. So let's talk about some of the speakers who are going to be appearing at the Liberty on the Rocks Voluntaryism Conference. I already mentioned I'm going to be speaking, and I'm excited to be there. Miriam, my partner, is going to be coming too. We're excited for the hikes, getting to spend time with you, with Presence, Grant, and I'm excited for the whole experience. But also, you have a great lineup of speakers. Before we get to that, though, I like how you have this sort of section off. This is like a whole weekend, so people who want to come spend some time in Sedona. Early November, I think it'll be a great time of year. There's music on Friday and a kickoff along with the meditation, the talks on Saturday, the conscious conversations. And then Sunday, you guys got a hike going on and a bus tour for those who might not want to hike around Sedona. For people who've never been, Sedona is really incredibly beautiful. I encourage you to come check it out just for that alone if you've never been. But obviously, lots of great speakers. I mentioned myself. You're going to be speaking. You got the great Larken Rose. And if you go to the website, which will be linked wherever you're watching, guys, there are titles for each of the talk. My talk is going to be called Exit and Build, How to Live the Principles of Liberty Now. Larken's talk is going to be called The Illegitimacy of Government and Rebooting Humanity. So you can go through here to these speakers, David Friedman, Walter Block, James Corbett, and cool thing, Ryan Cristian is going to be involved. And Ryan, for those of you guys who know his work at The Last American Vagabond, he actually doesn't do too many in-person events. But why don't you tell everybody a little bit about what Ryan's going to be doing? Because I know it's going to be a bit different than just speaking and participating, but he's going to be a big part of this, isn't he?
Right. So there is a virtual ticket which comes with a copy of my upcoming book called Voluntaryism: How the Only Ism Fair for Everyone Leads to Harmony, Prosperity, and Good Karma for All. And that's a $40 virtual ticket. And if that's not in the budget, or you want to see what's going on, Ryan is going to be doing a free live stream that will be kind of like behind the scenes, and he'll be interviewing the speakers before they go live, and he'll be having a conversation with some of these experts in the privatization of roads and highways, or in how do you have a legal system without a government. And so you'll be able to see what they're going in, and then kind of get a taste. And then if you want to jump in, you can jump in on the virtual stream as well. And so he's going to be our behind the scenes live stream over the Last American Vagabond.
Cool. I think that's a cool feature, sort of the just everybody's fresh off, the stage or getting ready to go on the stage and just sharing their thoughts and ideas. And I know Ryan's going to do a great job narrating and kind of broadcasting the whole thing. So I'm excited because I'm going to get to see friends like you and Ryan, and get to hang out with Larken again and some other great people. I've already seen people through my channels saying they've purchased their tickets. They're coming in person. So I'm really excited to meet you guys. There is also, just want to mention, I mean, you have, besides the live stream option you mentioned and coming in person, there's a VIP experience option. Do you want to share a bit about that?
Sure. So, one of the things that we do to try and keep the ticket prices low for everybody is we've got, for folks that can afford it, kind of like a VIP experience. And there's a VIP dinner on Saturday night, and there's the opportunity to stay at a place called the Larken Rose, which is one of the premier retreat centers in Sedona. It is an amazing, amazing place. You can see there's a link on the website through to the Canyon Retreat website, and you can take a look at it. And so we've got some options to stay with some of the speakers at the Larken Rose and attend our VIP dinner. And then also on Sunday's kind of fun day. Like I said, we're going hiking in the Rocks. And we've got a couple of vans for the VIPs so you can move around with the speakers and the VIPs in these VIP vans if you're joining us for the VIP experience. And I think you mentioned it briefly. So like, we start everything on Friday night with something called a Frequency Friday, which is the kind of quintessential Sedona experience. It's a guided meditation led by the Sedona Quantum Consciousness Center. There's a biocharger, which amps up group meditation experiences. There's going to be a sound bath by world-class harpist Peter Sterling. And then it turns into a concert headlined by Grant Presence Elman, along with Larken and Amanda Rose on the keyboards. And I was talking to Grant, and he said that you and him were about to drop a new track. And he thought you might be, I can maybe twist your arm into playing that for the crowd.
That is the hope. I really hope we do get to play that song. It's about to come out just in a couple of days as we're recording this. So I'm excited. I think it's going to be a lot of fun just to start things off. And like you said, starting with the meditation, going into music. And then was I correct earlier that the talks are going to be all throughout Saturday?
Yeah, it's all essentially Saturday is the work day. We're going to be, broadcasting live, getting everything done. And then Sunday is the fun day.
Awesome. I love it, man. I'm looking forward to it. It's just a couple of weeks away. Everybody, the website will be linked in the show notes wherever you're watching from. You can check out the other speakers, get in to look up their talks. And there's a nice little trailer video that they've put up here. Tickets are available right now. And if you can't make it, of course, you've got the live stream option. But I do highly encourage those of you who want to come hang out with myself and hear some new ideas, or more importantly, if you really are looking for solutions. That's the main thing I appreciate about being involved with this. And I appreciate your effort is that, as a lot of my work and any sort of events I do are very solutions focused. And I think that's just so needed right now. So this isn't just about coming out and having a great time, which it will be a great time, and hiking and seeing some beautiful sights and connecting with other like minds, but also more importantly, wherever you're coming from, whether it's, somewhere else in Arizona or from Texas or elsewhere, going back home inspired, motivated, activated with new ideas that you can start applying to your community. That's what I'm going to really try to focus on, is how do we live liberty now, not just in our heads or at some point in the future. So yeah, I'm just super excited about it. I appreciate the invite, and I'm hoping everybody will come check it out. Any other thoughts or words you'd like to share about the event or your work?
I think I think you really, really nailed it. And that, a lot of people have really just never thought about, well, what would we do if there was no government? We just have to have this government. And so what we're really trying to accomplish with this event is to give people the tools to take to their friends, their relatives, their family, their colleagues, and go, no, 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 we could do it all without government, and really, kind of demonstrate to people, hey, you can, the free market will deliver everything that's non-redistributive. You can't rob Peter to pay Paul, but the overwhelming majority of what the government does is provide services, and all of that could be replaced and done better, faster, and cheaper by the free market. And that's really the goal, is to give people the evidence and the how-to that can be accomplished.
Awesome. I love it. I appreciate it. I'll see you in a few weeks, and everybody at home, check out the links. Hope to see you in Sedona. Until next time, remember, you are powerful, you are beautiful, and you are